Thunderstorms rumbling across much of the region right now. We'll track those on your Defender Radar Network just ahead.
A violent crash in Casey County leaves a man dead and 3 others injured. According to what we've learned today, the man that was behind the wheel was not even supposed to be driving.
Deputies filed charges after a confrontation ends in a double shooting.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. We have showers and storms moving across the area right now, and they are putting down some pretty heavy rains.
They are. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey for the very latest out there. Chris.
Yeah, those thunderstorms, anytime you get this much humidity in the air, guys, you get a thunderstorm, it's going to put down a ton of water, and we're getting it in a short amount of time, creating some at least local stream and street flooding out there. And look at behind the initial surge of showers and storms, still some moderate bands of rain that'll continue for another hour or two. Let's get you caught up on exactly what is going on now with your Defender Radar Network. And by the way, this is not severe weather that we are tracking per se. It's heavy rain. You get into the Lexington area, it's a general moderate rain that is coming on down as we speak. East of Richmond, around Waco, you get over toward parts of Clay City, southeastern sections of Clark County, right on top of the Mountain Parkway corridor. Now we're talking about a stronger thunderstorm. That's north of Irvine here into Estill County as well. North of 52 is where the heaviest rain is. From Richmond down to Berea, it continues to rain at a pretty good clip. Into parts of Rockcastle County, western parts of Jackson County, and now tracking a decent little thunderstorm on the Pulaski and Laurel County line. So folks around Keavy, Corbin, up into London, down into Williamsburg, you have those showers and thunderstorms coming on in to town over the next little bit. Notice the green box around Monticello. That's a flash flood warning. We have some street flooding on top of North Main Street there into downtown Monticello. That is closed right now because of high water, and you're still going to get in on another hour or two of some moderate to heavy rains. The real flooding has been occurring across parts of western Kentucky. That future radar shows a definitive weakening trend. That's what we like to see later this evening, but look at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Maybe another early day wake-up call from Mother Nature. Guys, I've got more storms into that holiday weekend forecast when I come back in a little over 10 minutes.
Chris, thank you. We continue to track breaking news out of Hart County right now. All 19 people trapped in Hidden River Cave have been rescued. A tour group was inside that cave when waters began to rise this afternoon. Horse Cave police were able to rescue 4 before becoming trapped themselves, along with 17 others. We don't have any details right now on how they were rescued, but we do know that all 19 people have been freed. We'll keep you posted on this story.
We're also tracking breaking news in Jessamine County tonight. US 27 is closed near the Fayette County line because of a deadly crash. It happened less than an hour ago near Bethel Harvest Church. We're told that 2 cars collided. One driver died. The other was rushed to the hospital. Now, traffic around this area is backed up. You can see the slowdown with that red line there on the WKYT live drive traffic map. Police are asking drivers to avoid the area. Again, this is US 27 in Jessamine County, right near the Fayette County line.
There is some troubling new information tonight about a driver police say is responsible for a deadly crash.
62-year-old David Bryant died after his truck hit 2 cars head-on along Highway 70 west of Liberty. The crash injured 3 other people. State police say Bryant was drinking before it happened. When we looked into the past of his today, we found a long history of DUI arrests and that he should not have been driving in the first place. Phil Pendleton has our top story at 6.
Rodney Fair came up on the scene of a closed road, mangled metal of 2 cars and a truck Wednesday night.
When I look at the truck, it was sitting right there, and I mean the truck and the car, it was, still connected together.
Police say 62-year-old David Bryant had been driving the truck. He was pronounced dead on the scene. His truck crashed into 2 other cars after police say he crossed the center line. They suspect he had been drinking.
He's got a very good family, but he's got a good history of drinking and driving.
Court records show numerous DUIs dating back to the 1990s for Bryant. His license was suspended, even his license plate impounded after his 3rd DUI offense in October. The courts ordered him to stay out of the driver's seat for 24 months.
I think, if you're going to drink, you should stay at home and stay off under the wheel.
The crash injured 19-year-old Madison Dobson of Campbellsville and 36-year-old Jeremiah Cooper and his wife Stephanie of Washington State. The Coopers had a 4-year-old with them who was not hurt.
That baby could have got killed. They could have got killed. I mean, it could have been a lot worse than what it seems to be.
Police say the level of alcohol involvement isn't known pending toxicology results in Casey County.
Truly is a sad, sad world out here.
Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Madison Dobson went to a local hospital there for non-life-threatening injuries. The Coopers were airlifted to UK.
A confrontation ends with 2 people shot. That double shooting happened on Locust Grove Road in the Keavy community of Laurel County around 11 this morning. Deputies took 1 person into custody. So far, charges have not been filed. WKYT's Victor Puente is tracking the investigation.
Deputies say this happened after a father went to confront a man his daughter had dated. Now that father's in the hospital and the other man is in jail. The shooting happened at just after 11 in the western part of Laurel County. Deputies say 28-year-old Landon Collins was at this mobile home when 2 men pulled up in a truck.
They went inside the residence. Some type of a conversation and a confrontation or a struggle occurred inside the residence between the 3 with a weapon involved.
Both of those men were shot, one in the head, the other in the stomach. Achardo says Collins then waited for deputies to arrive.
Throwed the gun out in the yard, and whenever our deputies rolled up on the scene, he was waiting for us at the road, so he wasn't trying to get away or anything.
He was charged with 2 counts of criminal attempt to commit murder, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, and receiving stolen property. Police are still searching for a 4th man they believe was at the home.
That individual fled the scene on foot and has not been located so far. He allegedly drove a gray-colored car to the scene that has been reported as stolen from Lexington.
Achardo says paramedics wanted to fly both of those victims to the University of Kentucky Medical Center, but storms in the area prevented that from happening. Instead, they were taken by ambulance. In Laurel County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has released the name of the victims just a few minutes ago. They are 57-year-old Ralph Boggs and 57-year-old Garrett Turner. Both were taken to UK Hospital. Lexington business is cleaning up after an unoccupied van rolled into the building. It happened just before 4 at Guaranteed Pest Control on East 7th Street. Firefighters say employees at an auto repair shop across the street were working on the van when it went into reverse, crossed the street, and crashed. No one was hurt.
A hearing revealed new details about a Lexington woman's murder. Police say William Pomeroy shot and killed his girlfriend, Amy Kogel, in the backyard of their home on Pinckney Court last week. Detectives say Pomeroy told them the pair was arguing over money when Kogel pulled a gun on him. They say he turned it around, unloaded the gun on her, reloaded, and continued shooting. Pomeroy turned himself in the next day and was charged with murder. A judge waived his case to a grand jury. He remains in jail with no bond. Police continue to investigate a house fire that killed a 5-year-old girl. Jordan Harold did not make it out of the house on Old Highway 11 in Owsley County as it caught fire yesterday. Her mother and younger sister survived. We checked with state police to see if they had determined a cause. They tell us investigators returned to that scene today, but it could be a week before they have an answer.
Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders will not gain any delegates in a recanvass of votes in Kentucky's primary. The Board of Elections in all 120 counties rechecked every voting machine this morning. Sanders requested the recanvass after losing to Hillary Clinton by less than 2,000 votes. After announcing the recanvass results, Grimes addressed questions about her role as chief election officer and vocal Clinton supporter.
You're elected as Secretary of State. You take that partisanship hat off. You come here to work for the people of Kentucky. That's how I've conducted my office. But I don't think it's any secret to the folks all across the state and indeed this nation, the friendship that I share with someone who has literally seen me grow up from being a teenager.
It's all part of my campaign.
The State Board of Elections will meet to certify the results next Tuesday. Bernie Sanders released a statement following today's recanvass saying, quote, "We accept the results in Kentucky. We are very pleased that we split the delegates in a state with a closed primary in which independents cannot vote and where Secretary Clinton defeated Barack Obama by 35 points in 2008. I thank the people of Kentucky very much for their support," end quote. Some big changes this week at a popular tourist attraction right here in Lexington. The Kentucky Horse Park Commission today announced a new executive director to run the park.
And that's just one of several changes to the park's leadership in recent days. Our Garrett Weimer has more.
The commission's decision to pick a new executive director to run the horse park here comes just days after Governor Matt Bevin replaced a handful of board members, including former First Lady Jane Beshear. The commission met in closed session this morning before announcing they'll hire Laura Pruitt as the new executive director. She'll start July 1st. The contract for the current executive director, Jamie Link, expires June 30th. The commission decided not to renew his contract. Board members would not say why. The changes are getting a lot of attention ahead of an upcoming audit of the horse park's finances and rentals, and following Governor Bevin's shakeup of the board's composition. The governor appointed 6 new members to the commission and reappointed 5. The incoming executive director says she's not concerned about the coming audit.
From what I've heard, I mean, I do not think there's anything improper, probably, so we'll see. I think that perhaps that there might be little things, policies, whatever, but I'm not concerned. I've been through audits. I've conducted audits, so, I understand.
Governor Bevin also reorganized the commission to include 15 members instead of 17. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Pruitt most recently was executive director of the Breeders' Cup Festival. New numbers on just how many people in Lexington deal with hunger, the results of a recent survey coming up.
At Gates Honda in Richmond, our grand opening will be low-key. No hot dogs, balloons, loud music, no gorillas. We have great deals waiting for you on over 100 new Hondas. At Gates Honda in Richmond, we sell new Hondas for less because we can.
I've been a pizza maker for over 30 years. Believe me, pizza love just doesn't get any deeper than this.
Get ready for our thickest, crispiest pizza ever. Papa John's new pan pizza, loaded with cheese that spills over the edge and bakes into a crunchy, delicious crust. Get our new pan pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $10.
Better ingredients, better pizza, papajohns.com.
In case you haven't noticed, someone around here is hanging banners. Bob Allen Motor Mall is the #1 volume Ram dealer in Kentucky, 5 years running. Why? Bob Allen stocks the area's best selection of new Ram pickups, including heavy-duty Ram trucks. Plus, all new Ram purchases include powertrain coverage for life. You know, it's good to be #1. The Bob Allen Motor Mall on Maple Avenue in Danville. We are Kentucky's deal maker.
Learning never really ends. Every day we learn something new. But how often do we get to learn something exciting? Something artistic, creative, engaging, industrious? And how often do you get to pick and choose what you learn? Well, now you can. Berea, Kentucky's Festival of Learn Shops, July 8th through the 24th. Learn anything, learn everything. For more details, go to visitberea.com.
It's never been easier to lease or own a symmetrical all-wheel drive Subaru than right now during Quantrell's huge spring sale. During May, own a new 2016 Forester for only $23,960, or lease it for just $224 per month. Or own a new 2016 Legacy for only $21,900, or lease it for just $218 per month. Discover why Quantrell is Kentucky's #1 sales volume Subaru dealer for the last 4 years. Come into Quantrell today. We have great lease and finance specials.
How do you craft the world's finest bed? It starts with luxurious materials, with attention to every detail. For quality you can feel, the same quality you've come to expect at Sleep Outfitters, where now you can save up to $600 on select Stearns & Foster mattresses. Plus, get 0% APR financing for 60 months. When you lie down on a Stearns & Foster bed, you'll appreciate everything we've put in, making it that much harder to get out. Stearns & Foster, available at Sleep Outfitters.
At Gates Honda in Richmond, we want to service your Honda, regardless of where you bought it. We believe that once you've experienced our service department, you'll never go anywhere else to service or purchase your Honda. Come see us at Gates Honda on the Bypass in Richmond.
A growing number of people here in Lexington don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Today, God's Pantry released results of a new survey, the first in 5 years, and it showed the number of people who are helping is way up. God's Pantry serves 2,100 households each month. That's up 31% during the last 5 years, and only 35% of those have a vehicle.
That means the vast majority of our clients are walking, riding a bike, riding the bus, or relying on family or friends to get to a pantry. And so I think that just in general speaks to services. The more accessible we can make this community, the better it is for all citizens.
Another finding in the survey showed more than half of the people served had to choose between paying for food or paying their rent. We have information on how you can help out on WKYT.com.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Dealing with rain across the area today. Started out the day with some booming thunderstorms into central Kentucky, producing better than an inch of rain. No rays hardly to speak of today with the sun, but ending the day with more in the way of some heavy rain producing thunderstorms. Sick of it? Yeah, me too. It's been a wet May and really wet past 4 or 5 weeks across most of the region. Here we go again. Thankfully, this stuff is beginning to calm down a little bit. Farther east that it gets, the weaker we are seeing the showers and the thunderstorms. Still, though, little high water going on across parts of Monticello, Wayne County. Getting reports even outside of this warning area from dispatch down there telling us that, yep, we got several roads that are underwater, and that includes Main Street, at least in North Main Street, underwater as about of an hour ago. Hopefully, now with a gentle brand of rain falling there, those creeks and streams can get back to within their banks. London, skies darkening, and the lightning is just to the west of the downtown area. To the north, we go into McKee, toward Irvin, Clay City, and Stanton. That's where skies are really now barking at us here, right on top of Clay City. Mountain Parkway, and just to the north of that into Montgomery County as well. Folks across the Camargo area, Jeffersonville, south of downtown Mount Sterling, south of 64, that's where we're seeing the heaviest and steadiest rains. Lexington, it's just ugly out there, and it's going to stay that way for another hour or two. Heavy rain here from Harrodsburg into Danville, Stanford, maybe a distant low rumble of thunder. Liberty, Casey County, back into the Bowling Green area. This is a part of the state that picked up a quick 2 or 3 inches of rain in a short amount of time this afternoon. Pattern through the weekend and really over the next week continues to just kind of hang out in the same place. Scattered thunderstorms that are out there across the Bluegrass State. Not going to rain all the time, but we warned you, when it rains, it is really going to come down. There is so much tropical moisture available for any of these thunderstorms to tap that those thunderstorms will have those big raindrops that can produce a quick inch or two of rain. Hey, next 3 days, that includes the start of the big weekend. Pleasant, I wish. Humid, yeah, maybe. Oppressive, okay. Now we're up into the tropical range for the old muggy meter. So the muggy air is here to stay. Watch how quickly the showers and storms begin to dissipate this evening. Can we get those to crank up again tomorrow? I think it's a possibility. Outside of any thunderstorm, temperatures into the middle 80s. Let's go into our Saturday. More of the same? Yep. Chance for some thunderstorms. I think it's a better chance coming up on Saturday for some storms than what I see coming up for the day tomorrow. 7-day forecast every day, very similar. Daily threat for some showers and some thunderstorms. Outside of any storms, little sun, little haze, little humidity, and 80s for highs.
A little of the same every single day.
Pretty much it. I'm already tired of saying it.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you.
For the Cats baseball team, it's now a waiting game, Rob.
Waiting and hoping for an NCAA bid, but what happened to this team down the stretch of the season? And Anthony Davis loses some money on his contract, but you really can't feel too sorry for him. Stay with us. Sports is next.
Have something that needs investigating? Email us or call the WKYT Investigates tip line.
Get the credit approval you deserve at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Nicholasville. If you have a job and $199, you can be approved today. During the Drive and Discover event 2016, Jeep Cherokee's $199 a month. Visit BigMSuperstore.com.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C. Or wonder whether I should seek treatment. I am ready. Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It transformed treatment as the first cure that's one pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Harvoni is a simple treatment regimen that's been prescribed to more than 250,000 patients. Tell your doctor if you've had a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness.
I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
During Sleep Outfitters Memorial Day sale, we give you 3 great reasons to take home a Tempur-Pedic. 1. Find Tempur-Pedic queen sets on a Tempur-Up adjustable base for just $34 a month. 2. Receive a Visa prepaid gift card worth up to $400 with your select Tempur adjustable purchase. 3. Get up to 6 years no-interest financing on many Tempur-Pedic sets. It's 3 great reasons to buy Tempur-Pedic during the Memorial Day sale at Sleep Outfitters.
At the Joseph A. Bank Memorial Day sale, all suits and sport coats are on sale. Plus, buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free on most everything else in the store. Plus, suit specials for $199. And take an extra 50% off clearance. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
Greens Toyota is having a sale so big, we need 4 blocks to hold it. It's Memorial Day Block Party Weekend. Over 600 vehicles priced to sell. 0% on 10 different new Toyota models, including the new 2016 Avalon, Camry, Corolla, Prius, RAV4, and Sienna. Up to $2,500 in customer cash available. And save up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with our Green Saver coupon. Kentucky's #1 Toyota dealer. Greens Toyota.
Great people, great cars, think Greens.
It's the Memorial Day sale event at Mattress Overstock. Save up to $600 on Optimum adjustable mattress sets and Sealy Posturepedic adjustable mattress sets. Find your new mattress during the Memorial Day sale event at Mattress Overstock.
Save thousands at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Nicholasville, where you get 25% off MSRP on all the remaining new 2015s in stock. That's up to $14,000 off MSRP. Make the short drive to Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram today.
Before the start of the season, Anthony Davis signed a whopping $145 million contract extension that will kick in next year. It's a max deal only allowed if Davis met 3 criteria. Voted a starter in the All-Star game twice, which he failed to do this season. Named league's MVP, which he didn't win. So today, he needed to be named to an All-NBA team or lose part of that new contract. Davis wasn't named to any of the All-League teams today, so he loses about $23 million. Don't feel too bad for him. He still has around $120 million on the deal. After announcing he was dropping out of the NBA draft and leaving UK, forward Marcus Lee is drawing the interest of a handful of schools. According to Rivals and basketball time writer Jeff Rabjohns, Lee was contacted immediately by 5 schools: Georgia Tech, Baylor, Kansas, Gonzaga, and Iowa State. The former McDonald's All-American set a school single-season record last year by shooting 68% from the floor. He will have to sit out a season and have 1 year of eligibility remaining. As the UK baseball team hopes for an at-large NCAA tournament bid, it is time to reflect on what could have been this year. At one point, the Wildcats were ranked in the top 10 by one publication and in the top 25 by nearly everyone. So what happened down the stretch? Well, senior Dorian Hairston was extremely honest today.
Looking back on it, I think when we beat some really good teams, we beat some nationally ranked teams at home, and we celebrated a little too much. We got excited. We dropped the midweek right after that, and then we go into a weekend series in the SEC, and we don't handle business like I know that we're capable of. And some of that falls on me as a leader on the team. And looking back on it, we should have handled the games after we beat, Florida, after we beat South Carolina. We should have handled those games a little better.
A wild kind of day for former UK center fielder Austin Cousino. He was cut by one team and then signed by another. Cousino released today by the Seattle Mariners, who made him the 80th overall pick in 2014. He didn't hit above 200 while he was playing at the single-A level. Cousino lands quickly on his feet. The Angels have signed him. Coming out of UK, Cousino was a Gold Glove winning outfielder. And last year, NASCAR decided it wanted more side-by-side racing at Kentucky Speedway, so a few weeks before the Quaker State 400, NASCAR has implemented a new downforce package for race teams. NASCAR is again making aerodynamic changes for upcoming races at Kentucky and for Michigan. This year, changes are coming to the rear spoiler, front splitter, and rear deck to reduce downforce and to put the handling back in the driver's hands. Just like last year, Kentucky Speedway is undergoing a massive resurfacing effort. The Quaker State 400 is scheduled for July 9th. All right, that's sports. We'll be right back.
If you've been injured on the job, do yourself and your family a favor. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about all of your legal rights. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
At Gates Nissan in Richmond, we've got a huge selection of new Frontier trucks. Own a 16 Frontier 4x4 extended cab V6 for only $27,990. At Gates Nissan in Richmond, we sell new Nissans for less because we can.
CareSource insures thousands of members in Kentucky, but we're not built on numbers. We're built on compassion and care. Our commitment? People over profit. CareSource, caring for the Commonwealth.
Kentucky lottery sales have funded grants and scholarships for over 500,000 Kentucky college students. So every time you play, the Commonwealth wins.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
Looking to save big during Honda's Memorial Day sales event? Honda's got it! Get more for less with absolutely zero due-it signing on new Hondas. Every Honda's on sale. Get a new Civic for $179 a month, Accords for $189 a month, CR-Vs for $219 a month. Ready to save on the #1 selling sedan, compact car, and SUV? Honda's got it during Honda's Memorial Day sales event this week at your Central Kentucky Honda dealers.
Come see what's new at Signature Furniture. You'll find incredible leather furniture from Flex Steel, America's seating specialist. If fabric sofas are more your style, you'll love the beautifully crafted pieces from which to choose. Spend more time with the family with these inviting living rooms, or make plans for everyone to gather around this beautiful dining room and get the rest you need in one of these relaxing bedrooms. That's Signature Furniture on Nicholasville Road across from Zandel Shopping Center. What's your signature?
Attention Lexington and surrounding areas. Toyota on Nicholasville's hail sale continues through Memorial Day only. New Toyotas and used vehicles with minor hail damage have been drastically discounted. Get $5,900 off new Toyotas. Pre-owned vehicles start under $6,000. Under $6 grand. Hurry! This unprecedented event ends Memorial Day. Don't miss the hail sale at Toyota Nicholasville. The big Toyota store. Where price sells cars. Toyota on Nicholasville.com.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse is open this weekend only for our big Memorial Day sale. Get quality furniture and mattresses at incredibly low prices. Sofa with pillows, $297. 12-month interest-free financing available. Go to LexingtonOverstockWarehouse.com for more details.
At Gates Nissan in Richmond, we've got a huge selection of new Frontier trucks. Own a 16 Frontier 4x4 extended cab V6 for only $27,990. At Gates Nissan in Richmond, we sell new Nissans for less because we can.
We are following several breaking news stories. Let's begin in Nicholasville. Right now, a deadly crash has closed US 27 near the Fayette County line in Jessamine County. 2 cars hit head-on near Bethel Harvest Church, and one driver, we are told, is dead. The other was taken to the hospital.
There's also been a bad crash in Lexington on Interstate 75. It happened just a little bit ago near mile marker 103 near the Athens-Boonesboro exit. You can see a car on its top and a picture sent to us from the scene, and then this is one of our live sky cam shots right there. Also, we want to update you on that breaking news out of Hart County. All 19 people that were trapped in Hidden River Cave have been rescued. We've also learned that that group was from Clemson University. Students from there. They walked out out of the cave without any assistance. At one point, the AP saying because of rising water, they actually sort of waded through that water to get out.
Amazing. Neck deep water, and they walk out. Chris, no surprise with the rain we've had today as we look at those pictures.
Yeah, they had 2 to 3 inches of rain in about 2 hours there in the parts of Hart County down toward Warren County, the Bowling Green area. No wonder they had flooding. Locally, what we are seeing on our Defender radar network is a decrease in the showers and thunderstorms across parts of central and eastern Kentucky, and that will continue to be the case over the next few hours.
All right, it's been a busy night. We'll have the very latest on all these stories coming up for you tonight at 11.
The CBS Evening News next. Thanks for watching tonight.